The last video really described a lot about what psychology has done with this concept of intelligence. And in that video, emotional intelligence was mentioned, and I wanted to come back to emotional intelligence in particular because if we think about intelligence as a useful measure because it can predict other things, emotional intelligence is just so highly predictive of all of the good things that you really want in your life. So I wanted to take kind of a closer look at this. So previously, this module covered things like the G factor, primary mental abilities, and IQ testing. And we're all looking at, all of this was really looking at relatively academic skills and abilities. And it turns out that there is a kind of intelligence that is not academic, but is very important for our overall health and well-being. Emotional intelligence, that's right. So emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to perceive, understand, manage, and use emotions. So for example, if we talk about perceiving, this is a person's ability to recognize emotions in faces and music and stories. Understanding is about being able to predict them and how they might change and blend together. Managing them is knowing how to express them in a variety of situations. And sometimes the right thing to do is not express them despite how you may feel. Using them, so actually being able to access them or generate emotions when they facilitate cognitive activities and adaptive functions. Honestly, when you're at the grocery store and you're trying to decide between which two cereals you want to buy, it's emotion that's actually going to answer that question for you. So emotions actually are useful, and emotions can change cognition. It can prioritize what to pay attention to, and it can also, if we're using or tapping our emotions, it can give us a new perspective. So by accessing a different emotion, you might reevaluate a situation for the positive, for example. Perspective taking can also facilitate creativity. So creative people often experience really huge mood swings. And the idea is that this is one of the ways in which they tap their creativity is by accessing their emotions. Now, people with really high EQ or emotional intelligence are generally thought of to be socially and self-aware. So people who score high on emotional management are going to enjoy higher quality interactions with friends. They're going to be better at being able to avoid being hijacked or overwhelmed by depression, anxiety, or anger. They are generally emotionally tuned in with others. So they tend to have more successful careers, marriages. They tend to be more successful parents compared to academically smarter people. So emotional intelligence is less a matter of conscious effort than really an expression of unconscious processing of emotional information. Oh, that sounds like you have no control over it, right? I am not going to do that to you guys. I basically told you that emotional intelligence is the key to happiness. Now I would like to share with you some research that suggests how you might grow your emotional intelligence. And it's through meditation. That is right. So meditation, I think I've mentioned this to you guys before, but it's worth repeating that if you talk to any neuroscientist about what it is that you can do for the long-term health and sustainability of your brain, they're going to say like three things. So they're going to say socialization, keep socializing well into old age, because socialization actually really helps you maintain your cognitive function. Ironic right now. It is ironic right now in the middle of the pandemic, but socialization. Number two, physical exercise and resistance training in particular. So that is not just aerobic activity, but also like do some weightlifting. And then number three, a lot of neuroscientists, we love meditation. I love meditation. And you know, there's just so much research showing the benefits of meditation. So all this great stuff associated with high emotional intelligence, but it's not something you can consciously control. Meditation, however, can help you grow your emotional intelligence. So Chu, I love this study because you know what? It uses multiple methods. Chu did a big cross-sectional study of working adults in various industries to examine the relationship between meditation and emotional intelligence, sorry. And what she found was that people with greater meditation experience had higher emotional intelligence, and they had less perceived stress and negative mental health compared to those who had less or no experience with meditation. Yay! But, correlation is not causation. So, Chu did a study. She did an experiment. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So what she did in this experiment is that she recruited 19 participants, randomly assigned them to either a meditation group or a control group. The control group, by the way, invested the same amount of time as the meditation group, but they learned about nutrition. And so usually I would make a graph because I hate reading tables. But I actually kind of like this as a sort of a fun exercise. Let's look at the numbers. All right, you don't even have to look at the numbers. What I want you to look at is the asterisks. So the asterisks indicate a significant difference between pre and post testing. So people are getting better at. And if you look, you can see that there is a significant improvement in all areas of emotional intelligence. And there's also improvements in negative mental health symptoms for the meditation group. And there is absolutely no difference between the pre-testing and post-testing for the control group. So that's really showing you. And I think this program was like 3 weeks, but it shows you the power of meditation. And so meditation, my friends, is going to be incredibly helpful for GRE scores, for central executive performance, for emotional intelligence, for relationships. Look into it.